I think actually, as we're such a small group, it would be nice if at any point we say anything you want to chip in with a question, please do. Don't start right now if you want to. We thought we'd start by introducing ourselves. Before we introduce ourselves individually, I'd say that we're very old friends. Our children went to the same school, so we've known each other for about 25 years. And I thought it might be interesting to compare our experiences, because we both set up and run our own publishing companies. They're both around about the same size. Noah will say a bit about his, and I'll just say a bit about mine. I set up Profile Books, which is a conventional trade publishing company 15 years ago, 15 years on April 1st, 1996. And we publish around about 80 to 100 books a year. 3 years ago we bought Serpent's Tail, which is a fiction imprint. So we're a conventional bookshop oriented publishing company, and when we set up in 1996 there were no e-books, and the only impact that computers had was really on sending emails, largely without attachments then. And so we have had, in the time since setting up the company to today, to transition from being a completely print and paper-based book publishing company to one which is partly and perhaps somewhat reluctantly also an e-book company. We have about 28 employees, and our offices are just about 500 yards from here in Exmouth Market. We sell our books all over the world, but the UK is about 70% of our market. And in addition to selling physical books, we sell rights, which is to say we sell to international publishing partners, particularly in the United States, but in all languages. We sell them the right to publish our books. So we don't hold the world monopoly in our intellectual property. We pass it around to other publishing partners, and that's an important part of our business. That's about 10 or 15% of our business, and I think we'll talk about that a bit later, because that is likely to change, I think, with the development of e-books. So that's Profile Books. Maybe you could say something about your company now.
Okay. My company called the Healthcare Learning Company, so you can hear that we are coming from a strong educational background. We started the business, we have another subsidiary, fully owned subsidiary called Smile On. Smile On is the positive element of dentistry. Statistically, I don't know if you know, but you're going to probably remember it for the rest of your life, that the second thing that we do when we talk to someone is we focus on their smile. First thing is the eyes. We were born as a company in 2000, so it's exactly, we're celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. I sold my previous business in '99, and one of the division was to do with the supply of, it used to be called computer-based training, to most of the top 100 UK companies. We have about 32 employees. We are a small company, just over 5 million. We leave 20% profit on our bottom line, and we grow at about 30 to 40% year on year. How do we do it? We work in partnership with many academia type of organizations, such as universities, royal colleges, and other organizations, membership organizations worldwide. 75% of our business, 75 to 80% of our business is UK, the rest is via distributors. It's fast growing, we work in more than 20 countries now. We don't set up our own companies outside of the UK, so it's only distributionship and agency controlled by ourselves. All of our business is electronic. This is my background. For us, and this is something that we're going to talk about, when we look at iPad, and I'm going to show you some examples, even iPod, this is a bliss because we can get rid of costs. We have a weekly publication only in dentistry. We are only focused on healthcare, and the main cost for us is the print and postage. And we are considering at the moment, and this is just something that I'm going to throw to you, is to give or to subsidize heavily something like iPad per reader or subscriber of our company, so they can have rich multimedia and still use our publications. The publications that we are running are free, subsidized by advertising, and we sell products. Our products range from clips that we're going to show you, or 20 minutes usually clips, up to 2 years Master of Science degrees for doctors and dentists. We, for the courses, we charge usually starting from £100 in UK terms. In every country we have different price lists, up to £20,000, £22,000 per Master of Science degree. The science degrees are blended learning, and I'm going to show some examples, which means that about 80% are going to be online. This is what we were supposed to do today. We're going to use live, e-learning and the like. And 20% is face-to-face, and in healthcare we call it hands-on because it's heavily into procedures. We can rotate them in a world, so we can run, let's say, intensive residential, we call it, in Berlin, in London, in Manchester, in India, and we bring the students together. The rest is online. It will be live and distance learning with your own pace. It's called learning. So that's very much us.
So it seems to me the difference between us is we are still firmly in the old world. Our business, Profile Books, and in this we're like all of the trade publishers. A trade publisher is somebody who sells books primarily through bookshops, so Clark & Mortell's and Exmouth Market, or through Amazon, or through Waterstones, or through international bookshops around the world. And that's still, for UK publishers, it's still about 99% of their business, ignoring the other parts, the rights business. Because e-books is still a minute part of our business. We anticipate it's going to grow very fast next year, in 2011, in the United States. All these figures are secret, and Amazon in particular gives away nothing, but American publishers are now saying that for the trade books, the ones that were selling through bookshops, around about 10% of their business is now e-books, so they're not going through bookshops at all. They're mostly going through Amazon, through other retailers, but they're not, there's no physical book market. But it seems to me the difference is we're grounded in a technology and a way of selling books that goes back to 1452 when Gutenberg printed the 42-line Bible. Nothing fundamentally has changed for 99% of that business. But you, it seems to me, now are firmly in the future, because what your business is doing is replacing the textbook and what would once have been a textbook business. And some of our books have a sort of a textbook use. Some of our books are used on courses. All of that is being replaced by what you're doing on the internet. Is that right? Are you the future? Am I the past?
I'm not sure about it. I hope you will join me. But definitely I feel that we use technology much more than the way that you do. And for us, we are talking about different relationship with our users. So for us, it's very, very important to have relationship with the users, with the members. We call them members. We want to know as much as possible about them, as much as possible about what they want to do, what they are, how can we help them, and we will go and do whatever we can to help them. So it's one-on-one, and we manage the databases, and this is our biggest challenge. In the UK, for example, I mentioned the fact that we have publications for dentists. It's a weekly, we have electronic one, and we have offline. The electronic one is going to about 20,000 dentists per week. About 6,000 will come, and we will see what they do, what they read, what they're looking for, what sort of questions they have, and so on and so forth. And it's quite high proportion of readers, because I don't know if you know, it's probably even more top secret than e-readers. The statistic that I know is that 80% of the books that we buy, we don't read.
That's not true.
It's not true.
You could do a test here. How many people do you have every 10 books on your shelves have you only read 2? None of you. You've all read more than that. You haven't read them all, but you've read some. And we don't mind. I don't mind.
Yeah, I know.
As a business, I don't mind if people buy my books and they don't read it. And you don't terribly mind whether they watch what you're doing or not, so long as they...
No, for us it's very important that they are engaged. Okay, so we have different approach. The people that are engaged in what we do, they will come again and again and buy from us. The apathy is our enemy. So we believe in... So we come from a different philosophy. We believe that there are 3 things that we have to try to achieve within our education. And we measure retention. So how much students or users or members return from what we bring them. And in order to achieve retention, we need the engagement. And in order to have engagement, we have fun. And we need fun in the learning. So we are coming much more from the education side, and hence we want people to be involved with what we do in order to come again and again. And we have a lot of, it's 9 times higher. I mean, we sell to existing users that used us 9 times more than new ones.
I think anyone who tries to make dentistry fun is a hero, and that's why
you're
a hero. Whereas our books, you see, have to be fun because nobody needs another novel. Or we've just published a biography of Tolstoy, for example, in November, which has had terrifically good reviews, and we've gone back and we've reprinted it. We've now sold about 6,000 or 7,000 copies at £25 a time. Those of you who've been did the course and did that exercise know that we only get half of that, but it was still a success. Not a single person in the world formally needs another biography of Tolstoy. They only read it because they want to. And for me, the responsibility ends if they buy it, so I don't actually mind if they do read it all or not. Of course, it is actually much better if they do have a good time when they read it, because then they talk to their friends about it, and the very best way of selling books, physical books, is for one person to talk to another about it and say, you've got to read this book. And that's far and away the most powerful form of marketing. And paradoxically, that's one of the problems with e-books, because you see people reading on the tube, they're holding up the cover and you think, oh yes, that reminds me I meant to read that. Or you see somebody reading something and they're laughing about it, or you ask them what it is they've got in their hand. With an e-book, you can never do that, because all you've got is the back of the iPad or the back of the Kindle. So for us, it's a different problem. So we would like people to read, and actually we are mildly, no, more than mildly, I'm being cynical, we are idealistic. We do think that reading is a worthwhile activity. We do think that it's the best way to stimulate your imagination, to enrich your experience of life, to understand the world. That reading is absolutely at the centre of culture. So for that reason, we want people to read. And if they don't ever read their books, they would stop buying them. But we don't ever expect them to come back again and again, because our books compete directly with every other publisher's book. And if they enjoy a novel that we've published, or they enjoy a work of non-fiction, that doesn't mean they'll read our next one, because they will follow their interests or the recommendations of their friends. So in some publishers, trade publishers, do spend a lot of effort in trying to build up communities. They put a lot of work into their websites and e-activity, but it seems to me it's largely misguided and a wasted effort, because actually that's not, if you think about your own reading habits, it's not the way that you read for pleasure. And I think one of the differences between our businesses is that it's great that we try and make it fun, but actually that isn't really necessary, because these guys have to do it. If you didn't have the good fortune of being interested in publishing in books, but you had the misfortune of being interested in dentistry, you'd have to do this course no matter how boring it was. Your competitors might still march on you, but actually it's not about being interesting.